Welcome to the world of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories. Enjoy the listening. First Contact's Embrace. Commander Sarah Walker stood at the bridge of the USS Horizon, Earth's most advanced research vessel, watching the shimmering veil of the Andromeda Nebula spread across the view screen. After 15 years of space exploration, she thought she'd seen everything. She was wrong. Commander, Lieutenant Rodriguez called from his station, "We're picking up an anomalous energy signature. It's like nothing in our database." Sarah leaned forward, her experienced eyes scanning the readings. The energy pattern pulsed with an almost organic rhythm, defying known physics. Location? Approximately 2 light-years from our position, near the edge of the nebula. Rodriguez's fingers danced across his console. "It's moving." The bridge fell silent. In all of humanity's ventures into deep space, they'd never encountered signs of active alien technology. Plenty of ruins, artifacts, and remnants of long-dead civilizations, but nothing alive. Nothing current. "Plot an intercept course," Sarah ordered, her voice steady, despite the excitement coursing through her veins. "Alert the science team. Dr. Chen will want to see this." In his lab 6 decks below, Dr. Alex Chen was already poring over the incoming data. As the Horizon's lead xenobiologist, he'd spent his career studying alien life forms. Most were microscopic organisms found on distant moons or in the atmospheres of gas giants. This was different. "Look at these energy patterns," he muttered to his assistant, Dr. Maya Patel. "They're too precise to be natural, but they're not mechanical either. It's almost like..." "Like what?" Maya leaned closer to the holographic display. "Like a heartbeat." The Horizon's engines hummed as they approached the anomaly. Through the lab's viewport, Alex watched the nebula's colors shift from purple to deep blue. His instruments detected increasing levels of an unknown radiation, harmless but unlike anything in human scientific records. "Dr. Chen to the bridge," Sarah's voice came through the intercom. "You need to see this." When Alex reached the bridge, his jaw dropped. Floating before them was a structure that defied explanation. It resembled a massive crystalline flower, its petals shifting and flowing like liquid metal. Streams of energy coursed through transparent veins, creating patterns that seemed to respond to their presence. "It's alive," Alex breathed. "The whole structure is organic technology." Before anyone could respond, the crystalline structure pulsed with brilliant light. A beam shot out, scanning the horizon from bow to stern. Warning klaxons blared. "Shields holding," Rodriguez reported. They're hailing us." Sarah straightened her uniform. On screen. The view screen flickered to life, and humanity had its first glimpse of an active alien civilization. The being before them was breathtaking. Humanoid in basic form, but with iridescent skin that shifted colors like the surface of a soap bubble. Its eyes were massive and completely black, reflecting the stars themselves. "Greetings, travelers," the alien spoke, its words somehow translated into perfect English. "I am Zara K., lead researcher of the Lumerian scientific vessel, Starweaver. We've been waiting a long time for your species to reach this far." Alex stepped forward, his scientific curiosity overriding protocol. "You know about us?" Zara K's skin rippled with patterns of blue and gold. "We've been studying your development since you first ventured beyond your atmosphere. Your species shows remarkable potential." Sarah cleared her throat. "I'm Commander Sarah Walker of the USS Horizon. Your vessel is unlike anything we've encountered." "As it should be," Zara K replied, amusement evident in their melodic voice. "We've had considerably more time to develop our biotechnology. But that's why we're here. We believe humanity is ready for the next step." "Next step?" Alex couldn't contain himself. "What do you mean?" "An exchange of knowledge. A partnership." Zara K's form seemed to shimmer with excitement. "With your permission, Commander Walker, we'd like to invite a small team aboard our vessel. And in return, we'd welcome some of your crew aboard the Starweaver." Sarah and Alex exchanged glances. This was exactly the kind of first contact scenario they'd trained for, yet nothing could have prepared them for the reality. "We would be honored," Sarah replied carefully. "Though we'll need to follow certain protocols." "Of course," Zarake nodded. "We understand the need for caution. We've studied your protocols. Perhaps we could start with a single exchange? One of our researchers for one of yours?" All eyes turned to Alex. As the ship's leading xenobiologist, he was the obvious choice. His heart raced at the possibility of studying alien biotechnology up close. "I volunteer," he said, stepping forward. Sarah nodded slowly. "Very well. Dr. Chen will represent the Horizon. When would you like to begin?" "Time is a fascinating concept," Zarake mused. "We find your linear perception of it quite interesting. But in your terms, shall we say, 1 hour?" As preparations began for the exchange, Alex could hardly contain his excitement. Years of studying dead alien artifacts hadn't prepared him for this moment. The Lumerians weren't just alive, they were advanced beyond human comprehension, yet willing to share their knowledge. In his quarters, he packed basic research equipment and reviewed first contact protocols. His hands trembled slightly as he recorded what might be his last log entry on the Horizon. Personal log, Dr. Alex Chen. We're about to make history. Real, living aliens with technology that breaks every rule we thought we knew about physics and biology. Whatever happens next, this changes everything. The hour passed quickly. Standing in the Horizon's transporter room, Alex watched the crystalline structure of the Star Weaver shimmer through the viewport. Sarah placed a hand on his shoulder. "Be careful out there, Alex. Remember your training. And remember, you represent not just the Horizon, but all of humanity." Alex nodded, adjusting his research kit. "I won't let you down, Commander." A soft chime announced the arrival of the Lumerian representative. The transporter pad glowed with swirling patterns of light, and a figure materialized. Alex's breath caught in his throat. The alien before them was different from Zarake, smaller, more delicate in appearance. Their skin shifted through shades of violet and silver, and their eyes held swirling galaxies of color. When they spoke, their voice was like music. "I am Krissa, Biological Integration Specialist of the Star Weaver. I look forward to learning from you all." Their gaze fixed on Alex. "And you must be Dr. Chen. Are you ready to begin our exchange?" As Alex stepped onto the transporter pad, he felt the weight of history on his shoulders. This wasn't just first contact, this was humanity's first step into a larger universe. Whatever waited aboard the Star Weaver would change his life, and possibly the future of his entire species. "Ready," he said firmly. The last thing he saw before the transport began was Chris's skin rippling with patterns of gold and azure, a display he would later learn meant anticipation and hope. As the Horizon's transporter room faded away, Alex Chen stepped into humanity's next great adventure, unaware that he was about to discover secrets that would challenge everything he thought he knew about life, technology, and the true nature of consciousness itself. Breaking boundaries. The moment Alex materialized aboard the Star Weaver, he knew no amount of training could have prepared him for this. The walls pulsed with bioluminescent patterns, and the air itself seemed alive with microscopic particles that sparkled like stardust. "Welcome aboard," Zarake's melodic voice greeted him. The Lumerian leader stood in what appeared to be an organic control center, their iridescent skin reflecting the ambient light. "I trust the transport was comfortable?" Alex fought to maintain his professional composure, despite his awe. "It was different from our technology. I felt like I was floating through stardust." "That's because you were," Zarake explained, their skin rippling with patterns Alex was beginning to recognize as amusement. "We don't disassemble matter for transport like your systems do. We create quantum tunnels through the fabric of space itself." Meanwhile, aboard the Horizon, Krissa was causing quite a stir. The alien researcher moved with an otherworldly grace, their violet skin shifting colors in response to every new discovery. Commander Walker watched as Krissa examined human technology with childlike wonder. Fascinating, Krissa murmured, studying a simple computer terminal. You've achieved so much with such basic building blocks. It's like watching a master artist create masterpieces with only primary colors. Back on the Star Weaver, Alex followed Zara K through corridors that seemed to reshape themselves as they walked. Every surface responded to their presence, adjusting temperature, light, and even atmospheric composition to maintain perfect comfort. Your entire ship is alive, Alex observed, his scientific mind racing to understand. But how do you maintain control? The complexity must be astronomical. Zara K's skin shifted to a deep blue. Control is an interesting concept, Dr. Chen. We don't control the Star Weaver so much as we communicate with it. It's a partnership, not a hierarchy. As they entered what Zara K called the integration chamber, Alex gasped. The room was a perfect sphere, its walls displaying a real-time view of space around them. But it wasn't just visual, he could feel the cosmic radiation, taste the solar winds, sense the very fabric of space-time. This is how we study the universe, Zara K explained. Not as observers, but as participants. Would you like to try? Before Alex could respond, a tendril of bioluminescent energy reached out from the wall, gently touching his forehead. His consciousness expanded exponentially. He could see the quantum structure of reality itself, understand the dance of subatomic particles, feel the pulse of distant stars. This is incredible, he whispered, tears streaming down his face. How is this possible? On the horizon, Krissa was having a similar effect on the crew. Their presence seemed to elevate everyone's understanding, making complex concepts crystal clear. During a routine engineering briefing, Krissa suggested a simple modification to the warp drive that increased efficiency by 40%. Your species has such potential, Krissa told Commander Walker during a private meeting. You've barely scratched the surface of what's possible. Days passed, and both ships' crews made remarkable breakthroughs. Alex learned that the Lumerians had evolved beyond traditional biological constraints, becoming beings of both matter and energy. Their technology wasn't built, it was grown, nurtured, and symbiotically linked to their consciousness. But with each passing day, Alex noticed something strange. The more time he spent with the Lumerians, the more he felt himself changing. His awareness expanded, his thoughts became clearer, and he began to perceive reality in ways that should have been impossible for a human mind. You're adapting, Zara K explained when he brought it up. Your neural pathways are naturally evolving to process higher dimensions of reality. It's why we chose this moment to make contact. Your species is on the cusp of a tremendous leap forward. However, not everything was proceeding smoothly. During a routine data exchange, Alex discovered encrypted transmissions between the Star Weaver and an unknown location deep in the Andromeda Nebula. When he tried to access the data, the ship's biological systems reacted violently, causing a temporary shutdown of several key systems. Just a minor fluctuation, Zara K assured him, but their skin had flickered to a color Alex had never seen before. Was it fear? Guilt? The patterns were too complex to decipher. Meanwhile, Krissa was exhibiting increasingly unusual behavior aboard the Horizon. Commander Walker caught them accessing restricted files about Earth's defense systems, though they claimed it was simple scientific curiosity. During a secure communication between ships, Alex shared his concerns with Sarah. Something's not adding up, he whispered, careful to use a channel he'd discovered that the Lumerians couldn't monitor. They're sharing incredible knowledge with us, but I sense they're holding something back. Something big. Agreed, Sarah replied. Krissa's questions are becoming more focused on our vulnerabilities than our achievements. We need to. The transmission cut off abruptly as the Starweaver systems detected their conversation. Zara K appeared in the doorway, their skin now a deep, pulsing crimson. Dr. Chen, they said, their voice carrying an edge he'd never heard before. We need to talk about trust. Alex's heart raced as he realized he might have just compromised humanity's first contact with an advanced alien civilization. But as he looked into Zara K's swirling eyes, he saw something that made him even more uneasy: recognition. They had expected this to happen. Yes, he said firmly, standing his ground. Let's talk about trust. Starting with what you're really doing here. The air in the room grew thick with tension as billions of bioluminescent particles swirled around them like a storm of stars. Whatever came next would change not just his life, but potentially the future of both their species. In that moment, Chen understood that he stood at a crossroads. Behind him lay everything humanity thought they knew about the universe. Ahead lay truths that could either elevate his species to new heights or expose them to unimaginable dangers. The question was, were they ready for either? Hidden truths. The Starweaver's integration chamber had become deathly quiet. Alex stood his ground as Zarak's crimson skin pulsed with increasing intensity, casting eerie shadows across the living walls. You're right, Zarake finally said, their voice carrying an unexpected weight. We haven't been entirely forthcoming. But neither has your species. Before Alex could respond, the chamber's walls shifted, displaying images that made his blood run cold. They showed Earth's secret military installations, prototype weapons systems, and classified defense protocols, things even he hadn't known existed. How did you? Krissa isn't just a researcher, Zarake interrupted. She's a deep pattern analyst. Everything aboard your ship, every conversation, every system, broadcasts patterns we can read like you read text. Meanwhile, aboard the Horizon, Commander Walker had reached a similar confrontation with Krissa. The alien researcher stood in the ship's conference room, their violet skin now a storm of shifting patterns. Your military preparations, Krissa stated, not a question, but an accusation. The moment you discovered we existed, your species began preparing for war. Sarah's jaw tightened. Can you blame us? Humanity has learned the hard way to be prepared. Prepared? Krissa's laugh was like breaking crystal. You have no idea what you need to be prepared for. That's when the nebula erupted. Massive energy signatures burst from within the cosmic cloud, revealing dozens of crystalline ships similar to the Starweaver but far larger. They moved with impossible grace, surrounding both vessels in seconds. What is this? Alex demanded, watching the display in the integration chamber. An invasion? Zarake's skin shifted to a deep, sorrowful blue. A rescue mission. We're not here to conquer humanity, Dr. Chen. We're here to save it. The chamber's walls dissolved into a new display, showing a massive object moving through deep space, a construct of impossible scale and clearly artificial design. The harvesters, Zarake explained. They move from galaxy to galaxy, consuming all advanced life they encounter. They're drawn to technological civilizations like moths to flame. And they've detected Earth. Alex felt his knees go weak. How long? At their current speed? 10 Earth years. Maybe less. Aboard the Horizon, Krissa was sharing the same information with Commander Walker and her senior staff. The conference room had fallen silent as the implications sank in. Why tell us now? Sarah finally asked. Why all the secrecy? Because we needed to know if you were ready, Krissa replied. If your species could handle not just the knowledge, but the solution. What solution? Krissa's skin rippled with complex patterns. Evolution. Forced advancement. We can help humanity achieve in years what took us millennia. Transform your species into something the harvesters can't detect or destroy. By making us like you, Alex realized, back on the Starweaver. The changes I've been experiencing, they're not accidental. Zarake nodded. Your neural patterns are already adapting. You've begun to perceive reality as we do. But it's just the beginning. The chamber filled with swirling energy patterns, and Alex felt his consciousness expanding again. But this time, he could see more. The Lumerians weren't just advanced aliens, they were humanity's possible future. A species that had transcended physical form, existing simultaneously as matter and energy. The harvesters can't consume what they can't comprehend, Zarake explained. We evolved beyond their understanding. But it took us too long. Billions died before we found the way. We can help humanity skip the painful steps. At what cost? Alex asked, even as he felt his own body responding to the energies around him. How much of our humanity would we lose? Nothing, Zarake insisted. You'd gain understanding while keeping everything that makes you human. Your art, your music, your love, your determination, these things would only become stronger. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout both ships. The nebula was becoming unstable, its energies reacting to the presence of so many Lumerian vessels. We need your answer now, Zarake urged. The harvesters have already destroyed 12 civilizations in this galaxy alone. Earth will be next unless you accept our help. Alex's mind raced. In his pocket, he felt the communicator vibrate, Commander Walker seeking his input. Everything humanity had worked for, everything they'd built, now hung on this decision. You said Krissa can read patterns, he said slowly. Then you already know humanity's answer. You can see it in our history, our art, our endless drive to survive and grow. Zarake's skin shifted to a new color, one of hope. We do. But you need to say it. Alex straightened his back, feeling the weight of his entire species on his shoulders. In that moment, he wasn't just a scientist or an explorer. He was humanity's voice, standing at the threshold of their greatest transformation. We accept, he said firmly. Not out of fear of the harvesters, but because this is who we are. Humanity has never stopped evolving, never stopped reaching for the stars. You're not changing us, you're helping us become what we were always meant to be. The chamber erupted with light as Zarake's joy manifested in waves of pure energy. Throughout both ships, humans and Lumerians felt the moment's significance. A new chapter in cosmic history had begun. But even as the transformation protocols were initiated, Alex caught a glimpse of something in Zarake's swirling eyes, a flicker of concern, quickly hidden. He realized that despite everything they'd revealed, the Lumerians were still keeping secrets. The question was, would humanity discover them before or after they'd crossed the point of no return? The awakening. The transformation began subtly at first. Throughout the Horizon and Starweaver, humans experienced heightened awareness, enhanced cognition, and increasingly vivid perceptions of reality. But as hours stretched into days, the changes accelerated dramatically. Alex stood in the integration chamber, watching his own body shimmer with newfound energy. His skin had begun developing iridescent patterns, not unlike the Lumerians, but uniquely human in their complexity. The process is proceeding faster than expected, Zarake observed, their tone carrying a mix of excitement and concern. Your species' adaptability is remarkable. On the horizon, similar changes were manifesting. Engineer Maria Rodriguez gasped as she suddenly understood the quantum principles behind warp drive technology. Dr. James Wilson found he could see his patient's cellular structures with naked eyes. Even Commander Walker discovered she could sense the thoughts and emotions of her crew without words. It's beautiful, Krissa whispered, watching the humans evolve. But also terrifying, isn't it? To change so fundamentally, so quickly. Sarah touched the wall of her ready room, feeling the metal respond to her consciousness like living tissue. We're still ourselves, she said firmly. Just more. But not all transformations were proceeding smoothly. Several crew members reported intense headaches, vivid hallucinations, and moments of complete dissociation from reality. In the medical bay, cases of psychological distress mounted as humans grappled with their expanding consciousness. There's something you're not telling us, Alex confronted Zarake after witnessing another crew member's breakdown. These complications, you knew they would happen. Zarake's skin darkened to a deep indigo. Every evolution has its price, Dr. Chen. But what's happening to your people, it's not what we expected. The truth emerged through a series of cascading revelations. The human transformation wasn't just proceeding faster than the Lumerians had anticipated, it was taking an entirely different direction. While Lumerian evolution had led to a kind of cosmic harmony, humanity's changes were more dynamic, more unpredictable. Your species isn't just adapting, Krissa explained to Commander Walker during an emergency meeting. You're innovating. Creating new forms of consciousness we've never seen before. The evidence was impossible to ignore. Humans weren't simply gaining Lumerian abilities, they were developing entirely new ones. Some crew members reported being able to manipulate time itself, others could create micro-universes in the palm of their hands. The barriers between thought and reality began to blur. This is why you chose us, isn't it? Alex realized, watching a young ensign accidentally create a miniature galaxy while dreaming. Not just to save us from the harvesters, but because you needed us. Zarake's admission came reluctantly. Our evolution reached a plateau centuries ago. We became so focused on harmony, on perfect integration with the cosmos, that we lost something essential, the chaos that drives true growth. But with this revelation came a new crisis. The human transformations began accelerating beyond anyone's control. The Horizon's hull started reshaping itself in response to the crew's unconscious desires. Reality within both ships became increasingly fluid as human minds, unbound by Lumerian constraints, began rewriting the laws of physics themselves. We need to stabilize them, Krissa urged desperately. At this rate, they could tear apart the fabric of spacetime itself. In the integration chamber, Alex watched in awe and horror as his fellow humans pushed the boundaries of their new existence. Lieutenant Rodriguez had evolved into a being of pure energy, her consciousness spanning multiple dimensions. Dr. Wilson existed simultaneously across different timelines, treating patients in past, present, and future. We didn't just change them, Zarake whispered, their voice heavy with realization. We unleashed them. Commander Walker, her own transformation more controlled but no less profound, called an emergency meeting between both ships' crews. The gathering took place in a space between spaces, a realm created by the collective consciousness of both species. We stand at a crossroads, Sarah addressed the assembled beings, her form shifting between human and energy. The harvesters are coming, yes, but they're no longer our greatest concern. We've become something new, something neither human nor Lumerian. The question is, what do we do with this power? The debate that followed transcended traditional communication. Ideas, emotions, and possibilities flowed between participants like cosmic winds. The Lumerians advocated for restraint, for finding ways to limit and control humanity's explosive evolution. The humans, true to their nature, pushed for exploration, for pushing the boundaries of their new existence. Alex, floating in the midst of this metaphysical storm, felt a deep truth crystallizing in his transformed consciousness. Humanity's greatest strength had never been in their technology or their intelligence, but in their endless capacity for adaptation and growth. We don't need to control this, he announced, his words rippling through multiple dimensions. We need to embrace it. Guide it. The harvesters aren't just a threat, they're our first test. A chance to prove that humanity can evolve without losing its soul. As if in response to his words, the fabric of reality around them began to shift. The combined power of human imagination and Lumerian wisdom started weaving a new pattern in the cosmos itself. They weren't just changing themselves anymore, they were transforming the very nature of existence. But in the depths of space, something stirred. The harvesters, drawn by the unprecedented energy signatures of this transformation, altered their course. They were coming sooner than expected, attracted by the very power humanity had gained to fight them. The race against time had begun. But time itself was now a tool in humanity's transformed hands. The question was no longer whether they could face the harvesters, but what their victory would cost, and whether the universe itself could survive the clash of these new gods. As the fourth phase of this cosmic drama drew to a close, Alex caught Zarake watching him with an expression that transcended physical form. In their swirling eyes, he saw not just concern or wonder, but something new, fear. Not of humanity's potential for destruction, but of its potential for creation. The stage was set for the final confrontation, not just between species or civilizations, but between different visions of what the universe could become. And humanity, in all its chaotic, beautiful, transformed glory, stood at the center of it all. Transcendence. The harvesters arrived like a storm of cosmic darkness, their fleet blotting out the stars themselves. But the beings that waited for them were no longer the humans and Lumerians who had begun this journey, they had become something more. Chen, once a simple xenobiologist, now existed as a consciousness spanning multiple dimensions. His transformed being pulsed with the power to reshape reality itself. Beside him, Commander Sarah Walker had evolved into a nexus of pure strategic thought, her mind able to calculate billions of possibilities simultaneously. "They're here," Krissa announced unnecessarily, their Lumerian form now intertwined with strands of human chaos and creativity. "Earlier than we projected." The combined fleet of the Horizon and Star Weaver, along with their Lumerian allies, had positioned themselves at the edge of the Andromeda Nebula. But these were no longer simple spacecraft, they had evolved alongside their crews into living manifestations of consciousness and will. "Remember," Alex broadcast to all minds present, "we're not just fighting for survival. We're fighting for the right to become something new." The harvesters struck first, launching waves of reality-destroying weapons, designed to unravel the very fabric of existence. But humanity's transformed defenders had transcended such physical constraints. Lieutenant Rodriguez, now a being of pure energy, absorbed the attacks and redirected them into pocket universes of her own creation. Dr. Wilson, existing across multiple timelines, coordinated their defense by predicting the harvesters' moves before they made them. "They're adapting," he warned, his voice echoing across past, present, and future. "They've never encountered anything like us." The battle that followed defied conventional description. The harvesters, ancient and powerful as they were, found themselves facing an enemy that refused to play by the established rules of warfare. Transformed humans created and destroyed dimensions at will, rewrote physical laws to suit their needs, and channeled the raw power of human imagination into weapons that even the harvesters couldn't comprehend. Sarah Walker, her consciousness expanded to encompass the entire battlefield, coordinated their efforts with impossible precision. "They're not just machines," she realized, probing the harvesters' essence. "They're failed ascensions, civilizations that tried to transcend but lost their way." This revelation rippled through the combined human Lumerian fleet. The harvesters weren't just destroyers, they were cautionary tales of evolution gone wrong, of species that had sacrificed their essence in the pursuit of power. "Then we show them another way," Alex declared. Using his newfound abilities, he reached out to touch the harvester consciousness. What he found there shook him to his core, an ancient pain, a desperate fear of change, and a lonely existence spanning billions of years. In that moment of connection, Alex understood what needed to be done. It wasn't about destroying the harvesters, it was about healing them. "Everyone," he broadcast, his thoughts carrying across dimensions, "join with me. Not to fight, but to transform." Understanding flowed through the fleet. Transformed humans and Lumerians linked their consciousness, creating a gestalt entity of unprecedented power. But instead of attacking, they began to sing, a song of creation, of evolution, of the beauty in change and the strength in diversity. The song rippled through space-time, carried on waves of pure consciousness. It reached into the heart of the harvester fleet, touching ancient wounds and awakening long-dormant memories of what they had once been. At first, the harvesters resisted, their defenses lashing out with universe-ending force. But humanity's song continued, joined now by the harmonies of a billion transformed souls. It spoke of hope, of renewal, of the power to change without losing oneself. Slowly, impossibly, the harvesters began to respond. Their dark forms started to shift, cosmic destruction giving way to cosmic creation. The very force that had threatened to destroy them was being transformed by the combined power of human creativity and Lumerian wisdom. "Look," Krissa whispered in awe, as the harvesters began to change. Their fleet was transforming, darkness giving way to light, destruction yielding to creation. They were remembering what they had once been, explorers, creators, dreamers. The transformation spread like a wave of cosmic rebirth. Where the harvesters had brought entropy and destruction, now new stars bloomed. Dead worlds sparked with renewed life. The galaxy itself seemed to sing with joy as ancient wrongs were finally set right. Alex found himself at the center of this cosmic dance, his consciousness intertwined with Sarah's, with Chris's, with Zara K's, and with the newly awakened minds of the former harvesters. Together, they weren't just changing the universe, they were becoming something entirely new. So this is what it means to be truly human, Sarah mused, her thoughts reaching across the transformed cosmos. Not to conquer or destroy, but to create, to change, to grow. The battle was over, but the transformation had only begun. Humanity had not just survived, they had shown the galaxy a new way forward. The harvesters, now freed from their ancient pain, joined with their former enemies in exploring the infinite possibilities that lay before them. As the dust settled and new stars burned in the cosmic dawn, Chen looked out at the transformed universe with eyes that could see across dimensions. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge not with weapons or technology, but with the very things that made them human: creativity, compassion, and an unshakable determination to forge their own path. What happens now? Chrissa asked, their form shimmering with newfound possibilities. Alex smiled, his consciousness touching the infinite potential that lay before them. Now? Now we explore. Now we create. Now we become what we were always meant to be. The Horizon and Starweaver, no longer simple ships, but living embodiments of two civilizations' dreams, set course for the unknown. Behind them, the transformed harvesters began their own journey of rediscovery. And throughout the galaxy, life flourished in new and beautiful ways. Humanity had not just survived their trial by fire, they had transformed it into a crucible of creation. They had proven that evolution didn't mean losing one's essence, that change didn't require sacrifice, and that the greatest power in the universe wasn't destruction, but the ability to imagine something new. As they ventured into the endless frontier of possibility, Alex knew that this wasn't an ending, but a beginning. Humanity, in all its chaotic, beautiful, transformed glory, had found its true place in the cosmic dance. And the universe would never be the same,